Hello and welcome to Rubbing Racing's TV. You're with your commentator for this evening. I'm Lecky. I'm going to be bringing you the 38th edition of our Thursday Night Light event this evening. So welcome to all you boys and girls wherever you are in the world. Wonderful to have you. This evening we have got the BMW GT4, which is an absolute wonderful sounding car. You can just hear that flat six roaring away there. And we've got a reasonably full grid this evening, as we're just taking a little look at our guys doing the qualifying. So you're joining us mid-qualifying this evening, and we're just taking a quick look on board with Amber Cuey. Amber Cuey is putting his BMW through its paces. So, just taking a look at our Thursday Night Light event. Thursday Night Light this evening is a Ulm Park, so a very well known and very well respected British track here. I must admit, one of my favourites, Ulm Park. I think it's my home racing circuit, as you could call it, the closest one to where I personally live. So a fond favourite for me. And again, like I said, these BMWs, the GT4s are an absolutely outstanding vehicle, albeit not that easy to drive. So going to be an interesting race this evening. I'm going to see how our guys are performing here. So we've got a few minutes left in qualifying. Currently, Amber Cuey is our current leader. As I say that, Uniclark just seems to have put in a fastest lap. So currently lapping in the 142, 143 region for our quickest drivers, for Uniclark and Amber Cuey. For everybody else, around about the 144 thereabouts for now. A couple of drivers still in the pits, waiting to put a lap out. And one of our newer members is currently in the pits as well, just fettling with his tuning setup, just trying to get some corrections in there. So all the guys will have had a setup made available to them this evening. It's part of what we do with Thursday Night Lights. However, a lot of the guys have different driving styles, that they have different requirements from what they need the car to do. So they do like to try and make some changes and some small tweaks during the qualifying and practice sessions. That's on board with Spikemeyer now. Spikemeyer is one of our newer members at Rubbins Racing. I believe he's just joined us in the recent weeks. So a good welcome to him. Thanks for joining us, and it's good to see you out on track. So another few reasonably new guys that we've got at Rubbins Racing. Speedy Gone Hog and Mr. M. Ward are relatively new. I also believe Declan's a pretty new member. It might be his first time in Thursday Night Lights, I believe. So welcome to you guys if you are new. Wonderful to have you here with some of our old faithful, as I like to call them. So some names that you've seen before. Uniclark, I'm sure that you'll have seen from some of our other races, several championships. Uniclark's involved, Matowski as well. I know he started to get himself involved in quite a lot of the races. Amber Cuey as well, so some of the consistent names there. And we've even got one or two staff members in here this evening, so that's going to be interesting to watch, see if this is a good example for the rest of the drivers. So just taking a little look at Tyjo now. Tyjo now, I think he's just, he's not quite set a lap yet, so we'll be looking to put a quick lap in. Not long left in qualifying now, just 1 minute and just over a minute or so left in qualifying, so probably enough to finish his lap here. Potentially start at a fast lap if this isn't his current out lap. So again, we just mentioned Matowski. The Matowski looks like he's taking second place on the grid, followed closely by Spikemeyer. So Amber Cuey then being dropped down to fourth spot initially from the pole position on the grid, as Tyjo now comes across the start-finish line. So I do think that was a cold lap there for Tyjo, potentially. May have just picked up the odd knock or track limit breach there, which might have invalidated the lap time, but certainly we'll be pushing for a quick lap now. As we take a look on board with Spike Meyer now, who's coming into the pit. So again in third place, don't think he'll be coming out for another lap there, so it looks like that's it for him now. Potentially maybe just some additional tweaks left. As we take a look at Ambicure on board with Ambicure now. As Ambicure comes across the start finish line, let's see if he makes an improvement on his 143. Not at this stage, so looks like it's fourth spot for Ambicure. Things stay they are. And I believe that's it now, so as we're just getting the final cars coming across the line. Mr. Ward still out, Ambicure still out, Old Smokey is still out, and Tajo and Evan are still to set a lap. So take a little look on board with Mr. Ward, again another new member at Rubbish Racing, so a big welcome to these guys. Mr. Ward just coming up now to this tricky chicane section, where that bollard has claimed many a victim. And Mr. Ward looking to set a reasonable lap. I know from speaking to Mr. Ward in some of the community races that we've got in the background, he's a touring car fanatic, a little bit of a fanatic I should say, certainly his preferred category. So these not too dissimilar to the touring car, the BMW touring car, the 320TC. A bit more power and a little bit more wayward, but not a million worlds apart. So this might suit his style. So it does look like Tajo's come in and put a quicker lap in there now. So he's it looks like he's secured 5th spot, and with that off there, it doesn't look like Mr. Ward's going to unfortunately get a quicker lap this round. So Mr. Ward will take 7th spot. So a quick rundown of our order then, as we just wait for the race session to start. We've got Uniclark topping off the grid. Tajo in 5th, Speedy Gonhog in 6th, Mr. Ward in 7th, Declan again another newcomer coming up there in 8th, Old Smokey in 9th, and Evan, who has unfortunately failed to set a lap there, so will be starting from the back of the grid. So that looks like our order. Did have a grid place penalty though, which had affected, so that does look like an unfortunate event there. We can take a look at that after the race though, as the guys start to line up on the grid. So just a small interlude here as we get the guys just ready on the start line, just to make sure that they've got all the car settings set up correctly. Traction control, automatic clutches, etc. are applied accordingly. So as you start to get under starters orders here, don't forget to meet us on Rubbins Racing TV. Hit the like and subscribe button. Now, if you're looking to get involved with us, do go to rubbinsracing.co.uk and scroll down, take a look at the information and find the driver sign up button, and that'll get you through to our Discord server where you can get involved in all the action. If you do want to support what we do here at Rubbins Racing, any of the commentary or the racing that we do feel free to hit the donate button. Again, we are a non-profit organisation, so all of your donations are massively appreciated and do go a long way to help us support in the community that we love to run. So not long left now as we the drivers start to just finish off the final touches now to the setups and to the car settings here, and we should be able to get underway. So this is the international circuit. So I believe we are starting to get the starters orders now. Yeah, here are the lights, and we are go, 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 and that is an absolutely wonderful start from Uniclark. But it looks like Vitowski's got an awful start though. He's been dropped down to 5th place in it initially from the grid though. So that was a terrible start from Vitowski, but Spikemeyer making a reasonable start there, managing to maintain 2nd place, and Declan making the most of that. A mistake there from Vitowski. So as we come round the first couple of corners, all looks clean and tidy. Uniclight leading the grid, Spikemeyer in second place, and Declan closely followed in third. So, as we come up to this tricky little hairpin now, take a little look on board with Spikemeyer. And just behind him in the action there, we've got Declan and Ambiguity that are going toe-to-toe. So, Ambiguity now coming up on the rear of Declan. He thinks better of it coming into the chicane though. As you take a look at some of our guys now towards the back of the grid. So, Evan managing to maintain an 8th place spot there. There's a couple of places actually he's made up though from the back of the grid, so he's starting to make progress though. And there seems to be a little bit of a gap now opening up between Evan and Speedy. So Evan is looking to take the next spot from Old Smoky, but I'm sure Old Smoky will have something to say about that. And as comes to the fastest section of the track now, flat out the guys over here, trying to get everything they can out the cars coming up into this double right-handed corner. Just take a little look on the back of Declan here, he's pressuring Spikemeyer for second place. He's allowing a little bit of a gap now to open up to Uniclight with the pressure that he's placing on him here as he looks to the inside, and looks like there's contact there. Oh, that will be one for the stewards, but there seems to be a bit of contact there between Declan. And as he returns to the track now, Old Smoky also leaving the track, so a couple of incidents there on that corner. So as we come into lap 2 now, the running order is Uniclark at the front of the grid. We have Ambiguity coming up in second place, and Tyjo, who's made his way up to third. Fourth position looks like he's currently battling with Declan. So Tyjo's starting to make inroads there and starting to challenge Declan for third place. Again, that accident there that involved Matowski must have enabled Declan to Tyjo to start capitalising, which he's making the most of here. As they come round the hairpin, we've got Declan, Tyjo and Matowski in very close proximity, so Matowski probably desperate to get some of the time that he lost from that terrible start they had there back up. Again, a capable driver, know what he's capable of. Quick in the Formula Renaults. As we still on board here, taking a look at this battle for essentially third place. It's potentially a 3-4-way battle here. It could be anybody's this really at this stage, but certainly our similar liveried cars here, our teammates potentially, certainly not making the most of team orders and battling as hard as they can get here. So great to see. So in terms of timings now, not as quick as the guys were looking at in qualifying. We're talking the quickest lap on track at present we can see is Uniclark with a 1:47.1. Hopefully they will start to get those lap times down, and there we go, he's just come across the time in line with a 1:42.3. So these times looking a little bit more like they were doing in qualifying now. And 1:44 from Ambiguity, yep. So after first lap, second lap jitters, it looks like we are getting things into a state of normality here now, getting into a bit of a groove. So, and as Declan comes around that corner there, he starts to get the rear tyres on the grass, and that is a notorious corner for going wide on, and he's paid the price there. So he unfortunately house spin, that drops Declan down to 9th place, and does that allow Tyjo to move up to a podium spot. So Tyjo now looking at third place the way that things stand, albeit he's not on his own. So right behind him we've got the black and yellow livery car of Matowski. So again, Matowski will be looking to try and make up some time there, perform well in qualifying, and he's probably kicking himself for that start. Must have been a clutch issue, potentially a car related issue, I'm not sure. I'm sure we can find out after the race in some of the post-race interviews as we go on board here with Matowski. So less than a second away from Tyjo. He goes a little bit squirrely there. An open park notorious for its bumpiness. Just making the car drift a little bit wide there, get the tyres similar to Declan. As we see Tyjo similarly getting a little bit squirrely in front and losing a little bit of pace. So all the drivers pushing here. So as I take a little look at Matowski's previous details, Yeah, so Matowski's currently in our Clio Cup, our India and our Formula Renault Championship, so heavily involved in our racing series here, as we're on board with Evan now. So Evan's made his way up to 6th place, so from the back of the grid without setting a lap, Evan's managed to make the most of 1 or 2 accidents here and seems to still be pressing hard. Not putting in the quickest last lap, so it looks like he was either held back or made a minor mistake on the last lap, and it looks like we've got the curse of the commentator again. So another off there from Evan, and the black and yellow car of Mr. Ward there seemingly following him in, so similar lines there from these guys. So that does move Evan and Mr. Ward back down to 8th and 9th, with Smokey at the back of the grid following up in 10th there, but so just taking a look back on board now at 4th place spots on Matowski. He's dropped a little bit back from Tygel now, so just over a second in the difference between the two guys now. But still pushing hard, looks like he's got some composure back in that car now after that little squirrel activity earlier. Well, following up Matowski, we've got Spikemeyer. So Spikemeyer still performing well. He's managed to keep that car pretty much on the black stuff and maintain 5th spot here. So that's good going from Spikemeyer. Looks like a consistent driver we've got in him here. So and Speedy Gone Hog, which again, just keeping it on the black stuff. I think that's paid dividends here. A couple of spins from drivers and a consistency in not pushing has allowed Speedy Gone Hog to move himself up to 6th place here. So great to see. So the guy involved in quite a bit of the action so far today, Declan Grant, our driver from Ireland. He's managed to work his way back up to 7th place after his original spin, so managed to make up a couple of positions, assumedly from Mr. Ward and Ever, who were involved in a bit more serious of an incident. So that's allowed him to come back up. So I think it just shows here that consistency on track really is second to none. Speed counts for an awful lot, but safe, consistent driving, it really can't be rivaled. So take a little bit on a look on board with our afflicted driver Evan with the dented front end on that BMW. He's missing a light now, so it's definitely battle scarred. Did look like quite a serious impact with that tyre wall when he made contact as he came to the hairpin, so I can understandably see why it's suffering a bit of damage, albeit I don't think the performance is going to be that detrimentally affected at this stage. Hopefully, yeah, he seems to be getting full revs out of the car from a quick on board with him, so hopefully we'll see some fight back coming from Evan here, and he does look like he's pushing, so he's certainly got the ambition and the drive. Let's see if he can keep on the back of Mr. Ward and keep him in his sights. So at the back of the grid behind Evan, we do have Old Smokey. He's about 20 seconds or so, 17 seconds behind him. So there's a bit of a gap there. But as we take a look on board now with our leader Uniclark, not spot much of Uniclark today. Again, Uniclark Lee is another staff member, so a regular driver at Rubbins Racing and a consistently fast driver. Uniclark has been responsible for back-to-back wins, I believe, in the TNLs recently. So a very consistent competitive driver in this category. So it doesn't really matter what we throw at him in terms of cars and tracks. He seems to be one of the most adaptable drivers that we've got here, and that's certainly paying dividends in his Thursday Night Light performances. So great to see Uniclark doing well here. It looks like he's got potentially, minus any incidents, another win in the bag here. So fingers crossed for Uniclark. Great to see him have another win. Take a little look on board with Uniclark now. Again, this double right-hander, such a great corner if you get it right, such an awful corner if you get it wrong. As he comes down it's not really the back straight, but into the final corner. Yeah, consistently done, safe and steady. Great performance here from Uniclark. So for those that are unaware with our format on Thursday Night Lights, I believe it's a reverse grid. and that does mean that Uniclark will be starting potentially from the back of the grid next race. So didn't seem to affect him in previous races. We have seen him come from the back on several occasions. But yeah, reverse grid here, so that the order that the cars finish in will be reversed, and they will start in the opposite order for the feature race. Again, double length feature race, so we've got that to look forward to. But 10 minutes, just less than 10 minutes left in this session. I'll give you a quick running order of the guys on track now. Now we're approaching just over the halfway point. So over in the lead we've got Uniclark, and we've got Amber that's managed to work his way back up to second place. So initially had a second place. I think he dropped to fourth or fifth place and manages to make his way back up to second there. It's great to see Matursky in third, Swankmeyer in fourth. Tyjo's dropped down to fifth place now, so Tyjo dropping a couple of spots there from third, so must have seen an incident from him. Speedy Gone Hog maintaining sixth, again like I said, consistency here, paying dividends for Speedy Gone Hog, keeping it on the black stuff. You don't have to be the quickest guy on track to make sure you perform well. What you've got to be is reliable. Declan then in 7th place, Mr. Ward in 8th, Everett in 9th, and Old Smoky in 10th. So that's how we line up here. Oh, as we see a little bit of action as Tyjo goes Amber, so Amber getting a bit sideways there as we come into that chicane section. Lost a couple of spots, and he tucks in now back into 5th spot, which gives us an almost 4-way battle here for a 4th spot between Tyjo, Amber, Speedy Gone and Declan. So couldn't get a lot closer here. As we're taking a look at Tyjo and Amber started to think about the inside line, thinks better of it, and cuts back inside, trying to look for the slipstream as they come across the start line. But he's not the only one who's hunting that slipstream. As we take a look on board with Speedy Gone Hog, who's just keeping these guys in his sights. He's not trying anything crazy at this stage. I suspect Speedy Gone Hog will be waiting to pick the drivers off. He looks like this is his style of driving, which is slow and steady wins the race. So it's going to be interesting to see what that pays in terms of a little more of an aggressive style. As we see Amber here going toe-to-toe again with Tyjo. Tyjo thinking the better of it and backing out this time as they come into the hairpin. Again, difficult call on the previous one as you come into that left-hand, a very quick corner, but if you come in there side to side, one of you is really going to end up eating the dirt for it. So Amber getting the better of it this time. Amber currently sat in 4th spot. Take a little bit of a look on board now between Declan and Tyjo in the teammate liveried vehicles. Certainly not racing like teammates though at the moment. I think this genuinely is a fight for to the death for position here. So Declan will be giving it as good as he can get, as will Tyjo. But less than half a second between these guys now. It really is. You couldn't get closer between them. And is that Tyjo making a minor mistake that lets Declan through? It is. Declan goes around the outside as Tyjo starts to lose it on the inside, and Speedy also makes his way through. So that is Speedy. Again, it's back in 6th place, Declan up to 5th. And Declan is still not finished. He's on the back of Amber, really making inroads. He's got the bit between his teeth at the moment, and he goes straight round like he stood still. Absolutely great driving from Declan. Managed to stick the inside line. Amber not having it though. He's straight back on his tail as they come through the downhill section. Again, really difficult and bumpy this part of the track. This left-hander really easy to get it wide as Declan starts to push it wide, just maintaining it though. Keeps it in limits, but it has managed to take a little bit of the momentum away, and that lets Amber through on the inside. That's the second time in 2 laps Amber got that line. So quick through that section, and the fighting has allowed Speedy to close right up to these guys. So a tight battle here really for the 4th spot. It has allowed a little bit of a gap to start building up in between Spankmeyer, which he was putting in similar lap times as these guys previously, but it has allowed him to get away with this a little bit, mainly due to the battling from the guys behind. So just a testament there to how much slower a defensive line can be if you're not using all of the all of the track to reduce corner angles there. But you've got to do what you've got to do to try and defend the guy behind, as needs must in this instance. So again, just staying with this battle here for 4th spot, as Declan now takes ball from Ambiguity in the braking zone. As they come across the timing line, it goes Declan, Ambiguity, Speedy Gonjog and Taijo, the back of this little gaggle now. So Evans dropped back a little bit from this pack, so there is a bit of a distance now between Taijo in 7th and Evan in 8th place. Potentially that damage there taking its toll on Evan, which is why we've seen that bit of a deficit. I'm sure Evan will be doing everything he can to try and get that time back. And Declan now dropping to 6th spot as we come back to the action here, allowing Speedy to just come through there. So Speedy keeping the pressure on, just capitalising on any mistakes that are made there. And again, Taijo again, just dropping a little bit back now, leaving these guys just to fight it out as these guys come side to side, and that is definite contact. So be careful at the chicane, gentlemen. There's contact at the chicane, and that's unfortunate. That genuinely is. So that sees Ambiguity in 4th, Taijo moving to 5th, Speedy's unfortunately in 6th, and Declan's in 7th place there. So that's one for the stewards, I believe. Always a difficult section to come through that chicane. That bollard taking its most recent victim there. So still on board now with Taijo. Taijo again in 5th place now. So 146 is Taijo on his last lap. I suspect that'll be somewhat hindered by the traffic that he's experienced and potentially a couple of incidents there. So as he goes a little bit wide on the last corner. Take a look at the time as he comes through. And that's Spikemeyer who's coming into the pits there, so potentially damage there from Spikemeyer, potentially fuel related. Doesn't look like he's going for tyres, so it's not a tyre related issue. So we'll keep an eye on that and let you know when he gets released from the pit stop. So on board now with Speedy Gonhog. Speedy in 5th, just coming up behind Taijo. So he's managed to get that car sorted out. It does look a little worse for wear, a little battle damaged, but hasn't affected his track position too much. So still maintaining a 5th, but certainly taking its toll on his lap times there. Declan with a 157, Speedy with a 148. So lap times suffering now, maybe due to this battling on track and all the guys slowing down. So that will be allowing Evan to try and pull some of this time back. So that time deficit's certainly reduced now here, so Evan will be looking to gain some spaces if he can. And that's Old Smokey now coming in the pits, so looks like damage is playing a part here for these guys, and unfortunately I think Old Smokey has calling it a day with that one. So potentially that car is having a few more severe difficulties and not drivable at this stage. So unfortunate to see, but that's our first retiree for the evening. As we're in lap 12 with not long in the session to go now, and we're currently on board with Speedy Gonhog again in 5th place, so maintaining a decent track position here, certainly better than mid-pack. So that consistency really paying off. Minor incident earlier, but certainly seems to be a capable driver that we've got here. Like I said, 148, so I don't think that was indicative. That's a much better lap time with a 144.8. So, again, regained his form after that initial incident. As we take a look at Uniclark here, who is consistently coming in quick laps. Not as quick as we've seen with his last lap with a 143.4. I think he's been getting the 142s consistently. But yeah, there's a large gap between himself and Matejski, a 20-second gap. It's been pretty much plain sailing here today for Uniclark. Again, that Thursday night experience that he's got, and the general skill level that I think he's got here from the performances that he showed us on Thursday night lights, definitely coming to the surface and showing through here. So last time into the double right hander by the looks of it for Uniclark. and he must be taking it easy now on this this last lap because he can. So a sensible drive there, really, as he comes across the line. So a good win there from Uniclark. So I expect, like I said, a little bit gap from himself to Matejski in second place, a bit of a 20-second gap, but again another solid race from Matejski. A bit of a bad start from here, but looks like he's made that work for himself throughout the course of this race. So great to see that again. Another competent driver that we see regularly in our championships. So good expected finish, and as you see, Ambacue coming closely followed behind Matejski in third place there. So that's our 1, 2, 3. And Speedy looks like he's made his way up to fourth spot. Minor accident there, minor mistake from Tyjo allowing Speedy to go through. So that's fourth and fifth for Speedy and Tyjo as they come across the line. And that gives Declan, with a little bit of a flash there from Declan as he comes across the line in sixth spot. Nice to see. And that'll leave Evan, minus any accidents on the last corner here, to finish also with the 7th spot out of 12 original drivers. So not a bad finishing position despite that big accident that we saw there from Evan. And Spikemeyer then will finish in 8th place. Again, bit battle damaged and scarred. And Mr. Ward, who I think will not be able to complete the finishing lap. So, and that's it for our sprint race this evening. So as it stands, that was Uniclark in first place. Another win for Uniclark, so well done there. And Matejski closely followed in second, Ambacue in third, Speedy Gonhag in fourth, Tyjo fifth, Declan in sixth, Evan in seventh, Spankmeyer in eighth, Mr. Ward ninth, and Old Smoky, who retired in 10th place. So we'll move over to our feature. Get a drink and love you and leave you. So I will be a couple of minutes, leave you on stream just to fill in with the guys who will be getting
preparation in memorising the lap perfectly and tuning the car, and he just took it to another level in terms of being able to bring all those components together for a single performance in a single moment.
Yeah, we're live again, dude. Go for it.
Hello and welcome back to Rubbings Racing TV. You're here with your host again, Lecky, as you join us for our feature event of our Thursday Night Light Championship. So, like I said, if you're just joining us, this is our second event of the evening, our feature race. Our guys are just getting ready on the grid for the reverse grid start here. So this is going to be reversed order from the sprint race. So the guys are going to form up just on the first lap. So it won't be under full race conditions. The first lap it'll be a formation lap, and as the guys come round the last corner in turn one, they'll start to come across the line and pick up race pace, and then we'll be under full race conditions. So that is going to be, I believe, Old Smokey that will start us off, and potentially Mr. M. Ward then in second place, followed by our winner of the previous race, which was Junior Clark, starting at the back. So, and the guys will start to form up in between there. So just as we get ready, like I said, just before we pause for the break, if you want to check us out on rubbinsracing.co.uk, just head over to the website. We've got information about what we do here at Rubbins Racing, community that we run, and how you can get involved. If you do want to get involved in our action, go and hit the driver sign up button. And that'll take you through to our Discord server where you can come and get involved. It is primarily PS2 on the PlayStation at this stage, so if that is your bag and that's what you're into, do feel free to come and join us. If that's not possible and you just want to get involved in supporting what we do or watching some of the races, feel free to hit us up on Rubbins Racing TV or follow us on any of our social media streams. So as the lights turn green here now, like I said, the guys are going to start to just slowly move off the line. Out of the way of each other there, trying to not hit each other and cause any incidents. Hi, sorry, I believe that you're back with us now at Rubbish Racing TV. Apologies though, we just had a bit of a technical difficulty as the cars were lining up on the formation lap, which they seem to have done. So without further ado, we'll get straight back into the action. I'll run down the running order for you. So at the start of the grid, it looks like we have Old Smoky, followed by Mr. Ward, Spankmeyer in third, in fourth, Evan, Declan in fifth, Tyjo in sixth, Speedy Gonhog in seventh, Amber Q in 8th, Vitowski in 9th, Dan Mortius, who has joined us for the feature race, in 10th, and Uni Clark, who is forming up at the back of the grid. So, guys just currently warming the tyres up. This is a 25 lap race, including the formation, so 24 laps, not including the formation race, and this does include a mandatory pit stop for our feature race. So, the guys will have had to go through and had a bit of a word with the pit crew, got some of the settings saved for that, so that will make a big difference. And when they pit in this, could be the make or break of the cars. So I will try and keep on top of that. Not always the easiest thing to do whilst we're on project cars, but I'll do the very best I can to try and bring you how the pit stop action is going to affect us as we run through the race. So as the guys come up here in the formation lap, they're starting to form up side by side now as they come into the last sections of the circuit. So like I said, they will come up, run the last corner, maintaining formation lap pace, and as they get around that last corner just before the start line, it's on the front two cars to make a go of it, and no overtaking before the line. So we'll start to get underway now, and I think as we come through, by engine noise we're starting to pick up. No, you're just waiting for it. And Old Smoky's away, he's away. So it looks like we're under full race conditions now. Old Smoky up in first, and MRM maintaining second. It looks like there's minor contact there between Evan and Spankmeyer. It looks like it's potentially sent them both round. So Evan really suffering from that. Evan dropping to the back of the grid. So initial action on the first corner there, that puts Spankmeyer in second, Declan in third, and Tyjo in fourth. And directly behind those guys, we've got Amber QA and Dan and Speedy that are all battling for fifth position. So close action here as Amber QA closes up onto the gap in front. And all coming around that tight hairpin. No incidents there. So guys getting into a bit of a rhythm now after the first lap. Always jittery on the first few corners, which makes it more difficult. But we all seem to be through the chicane there as well. So just taking a look on board now. Old Smoky still out in first. Spankmeyer right up his chuff though with less than half a second in between that. Little bit of a gap then between himself and Declan in third space. So 2 seconds gap there. But then right on his chuff is Tyjo. So we're really starting to get a couple of distinctive battles forming up here on the first couple of laps. Old Smoky and Spankmeyer, Declan and Tyjo. So Declan, Tyjo, Amber QA, Dan Mortius are all in one pack. That is very closely being followed by Speedy and an ever-pressing Uni Clark. So I'm sure Uni Clark will be trying to make the most of this and come from the back like usual. So just taking a little look at the first place battle now between Old Smoky and Spankmeyer. So Old Smoky still maintaining first spot there, but lap times are 1:49 on lap 3, so a far cry from what they were in the previous session and in qualifying. So battle is definitely taking the toll on lap times here, but creating for some really good action. As we take a little look at Dan Mortius. So Dan Mortius joins us for this feature race. As we see a bit of a spin there, so careful as we come around that left-hander. And it looks like that spin was Mr. Ward. And Mr. Ward taking a blue and yellow car. Mr. Ward there taking a bit of a hit. So back to our battle in first place. Back to Old Smoky and Spankmeyer again. Still half a second in this gap here. So nothing in between these guys. Less than a car length. So after race one, Spankmeyer, I think he's looking to try and get past him as tidy as possible. So not pressuring him too much here, but certainly within striking distance. As we take a little look at Dan Mortis, and it looks like Uniclark, who is in the very similar liveried car here, so teammates here, both going toe to toe. Good to see again. I like it when see teammates battle. Closely followed by Matoski and Speedy Gonhog. So this is the battle really here for 5th place between Uniclark and Dan. And Uniclark looks like he's got the better of Dan there, making his way past him. But Dan's certainly not done yet. I take a little look on board at Declan. Declan's fallen a little bit down the order in this race. So Declan was up there and battling during our last sprint race. It's like he's suffered a little bit in this one, due to those first incidents. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make that time back up. I take a little look at Matoski here now. So Matoski on the back of Dan Mortius. So Uniclark's got a little bit of a gap now between himself and Dan. He's going to be looking to catch up to that gaggle of cars that are in battling for 4th place between Taicho. Potentially just getting a little bit out of shape there, and Dan managing to catch back up with him a little bit. So we're not all done yet. As Dan gets Uniclark gets extremely sideways, and there's a serious incident there. So potentially pushing a little bit harder here to try and make up some space, Uniclark, and he suffered a penalty there, but seems to be waiting for the cars to pass before he gets back on track. So not to cause an issue, which is good to see. That does allow Mr. Ward to catch back up to him, so that puts Uniclark back down to 9th place now. So we'll have to make up those inroads again if he's going to try and fight for the top spots. So take a little look again at Old Smoky back in top spot. So continuing to battle here for our top spot. We're in lap 4 coming up to lap 5. And these guys just unrelenting so far. Half a second still in it, so Sparkman certainly not dropping back, but again not pressuring him, so waiting for a mistake rather than forcing a mistake, which might be the better option here. Potentially playing a long game. Again, we've got to account for the pit stop with these guys, so potentially sitting in the draft in the dirty air is going to be overheating the engine a little bit more than it would do normally, albeit you've got the slipstream to be able to try and get around the guy in front. So pros and cons, as we see Old Smoky going wide there and Spikeman managing to get through, so paying dividends, managing to wait for that mistake and that actually paying dividends. So some great tactics there from Spikeman and allowing him to get that pit stop at potentially at his leisure now with some relative ease, with a couple of second gap if he can maintain that. So it does look like we've got Uniclark that has come into the pits, who's just exiting now. And Evan also doing the same, so taking their pit stops early now, lap 4, lap 5, potentially quick damage repair, get that engine looked at, get the car back out again, and see if they can start making some of these times back with some clean air in front of them, without having to account for defensive lines or dirty air. So our first 2 pit stops there, Evan and Uniclark, both guys coming out of the pits now. So we'll go back on board here with Matoski. It is Matoski pressuring Dan Mortius. Matoski's in 5th spot now, so after a couple of incidents and some reshuffling of the order in the first few laps, Matoski's found his way up to 5th spot. Matoski, our Australian driver, trying to pressure Dan here. Dan, who is a well-known driver to Rubbish Racing, not involved in too many championships I think at the moment this season with Rubbish Racing, but is a previous community event winner. I think he placed in our Dash for Cash event, so good to see Dan back on that grid. Dan currently in 4th spot, putting in 144s, 145 lap times, so consistent with the rest of the pack here, making it difficult for Matoski to try and work away past, as we see Declan now coming into the pits. So Declan Grant here, our driver from Ireland, chooses to make a quick pit stop, and it looks like he misses his pit box there, so that's going to take vital time off him there from engine repairs. So, but not too long. It looks like the pit team do a fairly reasonable job trying to get that car sorted, and he gets a fairly quick pit release. But let's see if he comes out in front of Uniclark. So Uniclark coming across the timing line now, and Declan is on the pit exit, and he manages to tuck in behind. So Uniclark's managed to gain a position there after his pit stop. As we look at Dan but Mortis and Ratajski now, Ratajski trying it on that hairpin section, which we saw end so terribly for two of the drivers on the previous race, but these guys managed to keep it in check here as Ratajski tries to come around the outside, which he manages to pull off. So outside down the straight and managing to make it round down there. So, but he looks like he's pushed too hard in the next corner, and he's got his tyres on the outside of the grass and gone round. That's really unfortunate for Ratajski, and that's let Dan back through and Speedy through in behind him. So he'll be kicking himself for that. Ratajski, that was a great move and well performed, and just really unfortunate on the exit there. So we take a look on board with Dan here, and Dan's starting to close up now with Old Smoky. So Old Smoky's dropped from that top spot to third spot now, and having Tiger up to second and Spike Morrison up to first. And Old Smoky comes in the pits now, sending Spike Meyer up there up to first. So Spike Meyer getting up to his maintaining that first spot, and Old Smoky hoping to come in, potentially try and regain some of that time that he lost with the jump in the pits. So Mateki now comes in for the pits, trying to reduce some of the damage, bit of damage limitation there for that spin on that lap. So trying to reduce the impact of that spin. As Old Smoky gets released from the pits now, and manages to come out in front of Uniclark and Matejski behind him. So that puts Uniclark into 8th spot. We still do have a couple of pit stops left, so I do expect him to gain yet another position or two from the pit stops that we have got left. I think Tyjo may be yet to pit. Dan's yet to pit, Speedy's yet to pit. So we've still got a few people left to pit, including the leader. It's going to be interesting to see where those guys come out. All told, giving a good indication, we've got about 30 seconds between the guys that are battling for the title, as Uniclark takes another position there, coming through on Old Smoky. Old Smoky not defending too hard and allowing Uniclark through there, but showing some clear pace there, Uniclark. He's at last lap again, a 1:42, so really pushing hard at the moment. Seems like he's regained some of that prior form. As we take a little look on board to Speedy Gonhog here. So again, relatively new driver here with Rubbins Racing, been with us a few weeks, making some serious changes with these configurations in the background. Really been getting into the spirit of Rubbins Racing and trying to make the most of it. Seems to be performing well here, so he's managed to make it up to 4th spot here in the feature race, which is great going as we come into the 3rd turn on lap 8 here at Open Park. Speedy Gone Hog pressure in the back of Dan but Mortius. I think these guys have both got a pit yet, so these guys still due a pit stop, so this will reshuffle these guys in terms of the total finishing order. But a close battle that we've got here between these two, so I would expect both of these two guys to come out next to each other, even if they did pit. So no damage retained by either car at the moment by the looks of it, so would expect similar pit stops time as well. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on these two and see how that battle finishes up. That's our battle currently for 3rd and 4th. As we take a little look at Old Smoky, and it's just gone from bad to worse for Old Smoky. He takes a spin on that quick left-hand corner just before the hairpin. Again, tyres on the outside, really causing an issue there. So easy to do when you're trying to use the most of the width of the track there to try and retain momentum around that quick corner. But so easy to get the tyres on the outside. So a couple of times we've seen that now over the course of these two races. So like I said, lap 8 here out of a 25 lap race. Things starting to settle down a little bit. Not too many neck-to-neck battles going on, but we have still got one here with Dan but Mortius and Speedy Gonhog. And looks like Speedy has managed to pass Dan now. So in the last few corners, while we're taking a look down the grid, it looks like Speedy's managed to work his way through. So potential mistake from Dan there, and Speedy's managed to capitalise on that, and he doesn't like his stopping now. In terms of lap times, 1:45 and a 1:45.5 and 1:46 4, so almost a second all told between the lap times, but I think that's potentially due to mistakes. And that lap time, previous lap time, will come down a little bit. I do apologise, I don't have the all the lap times for drivers listed. We'll try and get those for next time we're commentating. But great to see Speedy and Dan battling here hard, and some really clean, close racing here. So we take a little bit of a look on board with Ambique. A little bit of damage that he's carrying around with the our silver and orange liveried BMW here. Ambique, our South African driver, who I believe he's flying the Irish flag for his country of residence. Again, like I said, a bit of battle damage on that car at the moment. He's currently coming in 5th place, consistently with a 144.6s. Couple of incidents though, I think consistency really caused an issue here, which may be down to setup, maybe down to a couple of defensive lines, a couple of aspects causing issues for Ambique here. But quite a quick lap time, 144.6 is certainly competitive enough to get him up within the podium spots. So we've got well over half of the race left here. And just speaking of which, Ambique coming right up on the back of Dan but Mortius now. So this has really tightened up to be a close battle now between Taijo, Speedy Gone Hog, Dan and Ambique, and Taijo looking like he's picked up a bit of damage there. So potentially may even still need a pit stop there. I can't recall whether Taijo's actually made a pit stop there, but potentially has got damage on that vehicle, so which is why we've seen the slowdown, not a pit stop. I'll have to keep an eye on that. But it certainly made the battle for 2nd place interesting. This is now a 4-way battle for 2nd place, so we'll certainly keep an eye on this action here as they come into that nasty chicane section which we've seen claim so many victims. All through cleaning it up as Taijo starts to pull away a little bit of a gap between the 3 gents behind him, which he'll be looking, trying to regain some of that lap time that he's lost. A 154.2 was our last lap from Taijo, so clearly quite a big off there, or a severe spin which was difficult to correct and get around the right way again. So just unlucky a little bit there, I think. As he manages to get the back end again, he must be struggling with that setup, maybe damage causing that issue, rather than pushing too hard, or potentially it could be the pressure from the driver behind, but that's allowed Speedy Gone Hog to get up to 2nd place. And there was almost a half move from Dan behind him there, but he's had to back out, and Dan thinks better of it. Maintains 3rd place as Ambique now comes into the pit. So Ambique taking his pit stop, pushes him currently down to 6th spot, but Uniclark is a little bit behind him. So, and as Uniclark comes across the line, takes 6th spot there, so that's 6th for Uniclark at this stage. Like I said, maybe 1 or 2 more pit stops involved here. I might see that change a little bit further as he comes back out of the pit lane. And Mr. Ward managed to sorry, that's Declan that manages to make a around him, so apologies there. Getting confused with deliveries. But struggles to make it stick by trying to take a different line than normal around that corner, possibly trying to leave space there, but allows Ambique back through to reclaim 7th spot. So that's Ambique back out into 7th spot, and Declan slotting in behind him in 8th, Mitersky behind him in 9th, Oldsmoky in 10th, and Evan in 11th space as we get close to the halfway point here. So take a little look at Uniclark now, again in 6th spot. Sporting a bit of battle scars here, some front end damage to that BMW. Certainly trying to make that BMW work as we see him try to maintain that power slide there as he comes through that chicane section, and elegantly done so, if I do say so. So coming into this double right hand section here, he looks like he's gaining on the car in front, so consistently 142s we're seeing from Uniclark here. So that is going to be allowing him to catch Mr. Ward in front. He's putting in a not shabby 145, but you know there is a clear difference in speeds here. As Dan now comes into the pit, so that's going to let Mr. Ward and Uni Clark through here. Dan again not changing tyres, so it looks like he's had good instruction with his pit crew. Let's see what that does with his overall release, and see what that brings him out in front of the battle between Declan and Amber Kiwi. It's going to be close, so he's on the pit road now. I don't think he might make it. No, unfortunately not in this instance. So Declan and Amber Kiwi battling for 6th and 7th place. Declan's managed to reclaim that 6th place. Amber Kiwi right on his tail now, trying to reclaim 7th. So these guys giving it as good as they get. Similar skill levels here. Minor mistakes, just allowing them to swap position and then swap it back again. So I suspect they're not done yet. So these guys settling after Amber Kiwi's pit stop. 206 in the last lap. So let's see what he puts after he's put engine damage sorted. He's got the engine breathing as it should do again, and hopefully made a couple of minor reparations to that vehicle, which hopefully be helping his performance, helping stick on the back of Declan. So we're pretty much at the halfway point now for the race. So a quick rundown of the order at this stage. We've got Spankmeyer, who's currently maintaining 1st place, and Speedy Gonhog, who's currently in 2nd place, with a 12-second gap there to 1st, followed by Taijo, who's got a 4-second gap in turn to 2nd place. So that's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and our running order then down is Mr. Ward, who comes in, who was previously in 4th place, just been overtaken by Uni Clark as Mr. Ward takes his pit. So that allows Uni Clark to come into 4th, Declan to 5th, and Amber Kiwi, Mitowski to follow on from there, who I believe have all pitted. Dan Mortis then falls on in 8th, Old Smoky in 9th, Mr. Ward looks like he's leaving the pit in 10th place, and he'll be followed at the back of the grid by Evan. Yeah, just taking a little look on board here with Mr. Ward. So it looks like he has been released there from the pits. A little bit of damage. It's going to be a struggle to try and to get back up with the rest of the guys from the grid. Potentially, we'll be hoping for a potentially 9th spot out of this race. So potentially still push for Old Smoky though. Evan's not had a great day, I'll be honest. Must have had more than one incident there with the lap time deficit that he's got with a 1 minute 54 gap there from the leaders. So we'll have to inquire with Evan exactly what the issue was with that car, potentially not managing to get it up together in this feature race. Amber Kiwi on board with now, so Amber Kiwi currently in 6th spot, chasing down Declan for 5th space. So these two are still going at it, and we do see a car spinning there in the background. I believe that is Evan that's gone round. So again, really still starting to struggle in that car. Really struggling to keep that BMW in check. So yeah, back on board with Amber Kiwi and Declan here. Just taking a little look at this battle for 5th spot. Previous lap times after after Amber Kiwi's finished his pit stop there, both putting 144s in, 144.3 for Declan and 144.6 for Amber Kiwi. So some of the lap times here, potentially if Declan can just maintain his composure, he might be able to fend off Amber Kiwi and maintain that 5th spot with the lap time putting around here. But not a lot in it, one mistake, it could all change. As we take a little look on board here with our biggest move for the feature race, Uni Clark. Uni Clark starting again from the back and managed to make his way up now to 4th spot, and it's pressuring Speedy for 3rd. So Speedy's dropped down to 3rd spot. I think he was potentially in 2nd for a short while. That's been reclaimed by Taijo, so I think a pit stop allowing Taijo to get back in front there. as Uniclark tries to make his way around and manages to make his way through on the inside. Speedy thinking better of that and let Uniclark through though, which is most courteous of him. Really seeing that speed difference and not trying to cause a race incident due to clear speed differences, which is always appreciated. That leaves Uniclark now looking for a podium spot here into third space. Lap 14 of 25. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. Potentially Uniclark could still do this, but it's going to be a tall order. It's a big ask. Our Speedy gone hog down and comes into the pits there, so that's Speedy taking his pit there. So I do apologise for that. Speedy's taking his pit this time round. A potential mistake previously. Does look like he's picked up a bit of rear end damage on that car. He's got into the pits there, so maybe not even his fault. The spin that's knocked him from second place there, so that'd be interesting to take a look at. But that, like I said, that does move Uniclark up into third spot. So in first we've got Spike Myers, second we've got Tarjo, and third we've got Uniclark. There's a running order here, which has been consistent now for a few laps. Ambiguity and Declan still fighting for that fourth space battle, so they form up in our fourth and fifth spots. Ambiguity seems like he's closed that gap a little bit now, and putting a 143, which is almost a second quicker than the previous lap he was doing, so a little bit over actually. So Ambiguity seeming to get it back hooked in there. Mitowski again with a 143, so putting in consistently quick laps, both Ambiguity and Mitowski, so drivers that are both pushing here around this circuit to trying to find the most they can out the corners, try and make up any of the mistakes that have been made and capitalise as much as they can here. So I suspect that those two will both make position changes before this race is out. Another 10 laps to go here. So Dan but Mortius just joined us, like I said, for the feature race. Bit of a mixed bag this evening in this race. Had some good clean passes. Had a couple of mistakes. Managed to maintain mid-grid position, which is about fair, I'd say, at this stage, given performance in this race. So again, good to see him on the track here. As Old Smokey comes up behind him now, trying to pressure him for this fight for 7th place, which Old Smokey looks like he is trying to do, trying to make it stick around the outside. Always a big ask around here, but he looks for the cutback and trying to come back on the inside. Not this time, sits in behind him. Maybe a better option on the downhill. Try and take a good line as he comes through on the inside. Looks like it's a clean manoeuvre with no contact on the inside. I don't think he's got the run though, so good manoeuvre but not quite the run. As they come into this difficult left-hander, it remains Dan but Mortius just in front of Old Smokey for 7th spot. Again, side-by-side action here. Old Smokey trying to go around the outside to take the inside line for the next corner. Not managing to make it stick. Backing out and trying again for the next corner. So, really pressuring Dan here. Dan having to take some, no doubt, defensive lines that he's not used to taking. So, will be affecting lap times here. Great clean racing though. No contact so far. Side-by-side action. So we'll come back to that in a moment, but we'll take a look at Uniclark now. Spike Myers in the pits, and Uniclark is coming through potentially. Uniclark's only gone and done it, he's taken first spot. So that's Spike Myers in the pits, and he'll come out in 2nd place. Hotly followed by Declan, who will be a great speed advantage there, so looking to close that gap on Spike Myers. He comes up onto turn 2 here, that difficult little downhill left-hander. So that battle for 4th spot now becoming a battle for 3rd spot, as Declan and Ambiguity both move up to 3rd and 4th spot. If you take a look at Tarjo now, so Tarjo is in 5th spot in this race. I think he's potentially taking his pit stop last lap with a 2:05. That certainly looks like a uncommonly long lap time there. However, we have got a bit of damage there for Tarjo, so it's possible it could have been damage there. But I do believe all cars are pitted now. So Tajo making it up into 5th spot with a bit Mitansky behind him in 6th. Not a massive gap between these two. And then behind them, with a bit of a gap behind Tajo and Mitansky, we've got Old Smoky and Dan that are still battling here for 7th spot. So still got some good battles on here, even in lap 17 of this Thursday Night Light. 38th Thursday Night Light, I believe. So still great close action here. So Old Smoky will be much happier with his outing here and the battle that he's got ongoing on with Dan. I believe it was an unfortunate retire that he had to do from the last race, so potentially due to car damage there. Performing much better in this race here, managing to hold Dan off, so well done for that. So just taking a look at lap times, looks like lap times really taking a bit of a hit here, with the Uniclark putting in 145s and 144s being our race lap. Looks like they've all started to take a hit here. So fastest lap out the last lap was Mitowski with a 143.750. Mitowski is still looking to make up some time there. Onto at the back of that little battle between Ambacue and Declan. So, which looks like it may have spaced out a little bit now. Declan managing to hold Ambacue off for long enough, so it looks like he'd done just enough at the moment. So, Matejski, again, a bit of damage on the car, not been an incident-free race for him so far. But will be no doubt better impressed with the start this time round, because he struggled with the start from the sprint race. So that'll have served him better, but we'll be wanting to push further here, knowing what kind of driver Matejski is. So not done yet, but 18 out of 25, so not many laps left. Starting to close down now. So as we go on board with Uniclark here, again a great drive here from Uniclark to come from the back of the grid. If you can maintain this pace and this consistency, despite a terrible accident on the first couple of laps, has really managed to pull it back in line now. So starting to pull our lap times down a bit again. 144 flats now, as we go on board with a bit of a customary ride along here with Uniclark. So let's hope he doesn't get hit with the curse of the commentator. She's a notorious feature at Rubbins Racing. When the pressure's on, it does seem to make drivers a little bit more nervous. The weight of the public watching does seem to make a difference. We safely ship through the back chicane here, and as it comes up to the second chicane, again got to watch for that infamous bollard and the rubbers on the entrance. You can always put the car onto two wheels quite easily there, and which is through quite cleanly. Coming up to the Cosworth Bridge, he's through that, flat out into this double right-handed corner. Again, he's down easy on the power, trying to squeeze it through there, keep it back end in check, not get on the rubbers on the outside. Into the last corner, tidied on, nose on the apex, save the spin, and keeps it tidy to come across the line. So let's see what he gets in terms of lap times here. 143, looking a little bit better, looking a little bit more what we've seen Marina Clark in terms of outing today, but gets a little bit squirrely there, so potentially pushing a little hard here. As we go online, as we come on board here with this battle for second place between Spankmeyer and Declan. Now, so I mean, potentially here, it looks like Declan's closed this gap up tremendously. As we see Spankmeyer going off there, and Declan actually he does take the position, so he comes through and takes that position, and he's even going to allow Ambacue to come up behind on Spankmeyer there. So really unfortunate, really consistent driving from Spankmeyer. One minor mistake there, looks like it's closed that gap up tremendously and give a position away. So that's really unfortunate to see after a really good drive here so far today from Spackmeyer. And it is allowing ambiguity to come through. He is looking for that opening. Not managed to find it yet, but will be applying pressure, and that always makes things more interesting. It's going to stop Spackmeyer from trying to regain that position from Declan and potentially let Declan run away a little bit with second place, which he'll be looking forward to if he can. But it has allowed Matowski to catch up with the back of this group, which is exactly what he was hoping for. So Matowski now really in with a shot here, not only for fourth but now for third. So this could really go anybody's way now. Really, this really could, given mistakes, it could be a four-way battle for second place. So 5 laps left here, lap 20. So a little bit to go now as we see Matowski coming, unfortunately, sideways round. They're trying to catch up to the back of this group now, pushing a little bit too hard though, and that's taken another toll on Matowski there. So unfortunate. Doesn't look like he's dropped a position at this stage. Looks like he's maintained 5th. Tiger's managing to get up there close to the back of him. So hasn't cost him too much in terms of race position, but has cost him a lot of time there in terms of trying to catch up to that battle for second, potentially second spot there. So as we're going back on board here for that battle for second, Declan's currently the victor of at present. We're not all done yet, but he's got a good chance of maintaining, securing second spot here if he played his cards right. So a 1:44 lap from Declan last time, and that little mistake there from Spackmeyer obviously costing him a good couple of seconds there in that last lap. On a 1:44 from Ambiguity, so Ambiguity will still be looking to try and get on board with these guys now, but a little bit of a gap has grown there. So I'll give you a quick recap of the running order now. We're on lap 21 of 25. It's Uni Clark in first place, Declan that comes up in second, closely followed by Spackmeyer in third, and I'm sure these two will be swapping positions yet again before this race is over if they keep at it. Ambiguity that's in fourth spot, Matowski in fifth, Tiger in sixth, Old Smokey in seventh, Speedy Gonhog, which he looks like he's come up in 8th place, Mr. Ward in 9th, and Dan that's dropped all the way back down to 10th place now. I do see that we're missing Evan from the running order, so it looks like maybe Evan's retired from there and he struggled. His dad also seems to be struggling now, so looks like it's taking its toll eventually. And again, another driver spinning there, so lap 21 or 25 being a real difficult lap for these drivers here. As we see many drivers spinning on that lap there. So just taking a little look at Matowski. Matowski put in a 1:54 previously on that lap. After we saw him the back end get the better of him coming round that right hand corner. But he's putting a 1:46 now, so we're starting to bring it back down, but potentially tyre wear, potentially car damage starting to take effect here in the last few laps of this race. So we'll keep an eye on how he's managing to keep hold of this car, but he is managing to close that gap back up. So a quick spin from Declan there has allowed Matowski to get back up on him, and allowed Spackmeyer to reclaim second. So again, Matowski not done yet, still looking to try and get on the back of him there, but a bit of a gap there to catch up, a couple of seconds so far. So as you go on board with Declan here, Declan, not a great last lap from Declan, 1:54 ones. Again, that's that accident taking its toll there. Hopefully he can get back on the power, get back into a rhythm, and tyres are not affecting him too much, and he can maintain that previous race pace that we've seen and try and get a podium spot here. So a few seconds in front of him now, Spackmeyer. That's a good 6-7 seconds in front, so he's got a lot of catching up to do there. Spackmeyer comes across the start-finish line. See what it comes in terms of lap times, 1:44, so back to a consistent lap time now, so hopefully that'll be it for the final few laps for him. So it's a battle really for third we've got now between Declan and Matowski. Matowski put in the slightly faster lap times, almost a second in it. but I think we've seen Matoski pushing quite hard on this feature race to try and make up that deficit, and that's notoriously a dangerous trick. Great if you can make it stick, but a risky tactic. It is susceptible to mistakes being made, which we have seen. So, hopefully, you can try and get this this gap closed up a little bit now. Less than a second to the car in front. So he's managed to close that gap up now. Come into that chicane, he's managed to shut that gap up to half a second. So Declan may be in the better position. He may be looking to get his elbows out a little bit and defend that line, which you can do around Upton Park. It's quite a narrow track, so you can defend around here easier than some wider circuits. But there's still a good couple of laps to try and defend around, so that's going to be hard work. As we see him get a bit squirrely there, going in close to the bollard, just trying to avoid bollard on the left hand side there, should him slightly right over to the right hand side of the track. But he's through the second part of the chicane easily, and Matoski is managing to maintain distance, but didn't manage to capitalise on that mistake then. So as we come into lap 24 for Declan Matoski, they'll maintain at 3rd and 4th place respectively. So, and behind this battle we've got almost an 11-second gap there to Ambiguity and Old Smoky. So a battle for 5th place between Ambiguity and Old Smoky, potentially Tajo there being fought out. As we see Matoski come round again, that back end really taking its toll on Matoski, and pirouetting him again. So Matoski maintains 4th position, he's back on track. We'll be allowing Ambiguity to catch back up again, so Ambiguity, thankful of that mistake, you will see that gap shorten. Ambiguity has managed to get past Old Smoky here and maintain that position now. So 5th and 6th spot here for Ambiguity and Old Smoky. Little gap, few seconds there between Tajo and Old Smoky. Tajo again putting a 1:54 lap time, suspected spin there on that last lap. 10-second difference between a normal lap time. That's looks like a chicane related spin. So Tajo suffering a little bit in this race, but Old Smoky here still managing to maintain a couple of seconds between him and the gap of Ambiguity. So as we come into the last couple of laps, Fat Lady isn't quite singing yet. There is still a potential he can take that space, but Ambiguity will be holding to fend him off though. There's a few car lengths within that gap, so not an easy ask. So coming into the last lap now for Uni Clark. So again from the back, from a reverse grid start, that'll be back to back wins for Uni Clark. Great performance here. Again, despite a major accident in this feature race on the first couple of laps, managed to keep it locked down, had a good pit stop, came out in a good track position, and went from strength to strength from there. So as we see Matoski now, is that Matoski taking 3rd place on the last lap? I believe it is. Matoski now jumping up to 3rd spot. He managed to take Declan, so it looks like he's done that maybe on the first corner. Declan now being pushed down to 4th spot on the last lap, so he'll be desperate to try and get that back and try and get a podium spot out of this, which would be a great finish from Declan here if he could manage to get a podium. Matoski currently doing the number on him there and getting that job done. Has allowed Ambiguity to catch back up, so Ambiguity being allowed there to get back in the action. So really on the last lap here, it could be really a 3-way battle for 3rd place. It does look like 1st and 2nd are potentially a solidly done deal now, with Uni Clark and Spike Meyer they're getting 1st and 2nd place, as Uni Clark comes round the last corner now to take the feature race win. So a very well done to Uni Clark there, for a great win and a great performance. Spike Meyer will follow up in 2nd place there, as Uni Clark completes the race, as we go back on board here for the potential battle for 2nd place. Let's say they keep it into this double right-hander section, and Matoski gets a little bit wide there just coming out of that section. Is that going to allow Declan to come up to him? It is. He's right on his backside. He's taking a defensive line. Potential contact there, and that is going to be one for the stewards. And he does put out there, but that a little bit to try and almost say sorry, but I don't think that's going to cut it. And that's Van Matejski coming into that last corner. And that's really unfortunate for Matejski. He's going to feel really aggrieved at that. So that allows Declan to finish controversially third, Amber Kiwi fourth, Old Smokey in fifth, Taiju in sixth, Speedy Gonhog in seventh. Matejski eventually comes across the line in eighth, and Mr. Ward in ninth out of our 12 driver race. So it looks like we've had a couple of retirees there. So in Evan, Dan Mortius as well. So that's unfortunate for those guys. But that is our feature race for the evening. So thank you very much to our drivers. Well done to Uniclark, and thanks very much to everybody that's tuned into the stream to watch us today. So, like I said, this has been Thursday Night Lights, your 38th edition. I've been your host, Lecky. So, like I said, much thanks to everybody that tunes into us for these events each week. You know where to find us. Our next event on Rugby's Racing TV will be at our GT5 event, which I believe Murray Walker will be bringing you our commentary for that via text commentary on YouTube. So do make sure that you tune in for that. But thanks very much for tuning in and joining us here today. It's been an absolute pleasure once again. And what